Across the world, there are towns that were never meant for ordinary residents, but built entirely for scientific research. From simulated cities designed to test new technologies to isolated communities studying extreme environments, these unique places serve as living laboratories. Join me, I'm going to explore 15 of the most fascinating towns created solely for research. Starting with number 15. Tsukuba Science City is a unique integration of academia, industry, and government efforts to advance human knowledge. Its model of urban planning focused on research and innovation continues to attract leading minds from around the world. This city is located in Ibaraki Prefecture in Japan, and it's a remarkable example of urban planning dedicated entirely to scientific research. Situated about 37 miles northeast of Tokyo, this carefully designed city spans over 109 square miles and integrates academia, industry, and government into a cohesive network. The foundation of this science city was laid in the 1960s when policymakers identified a need for a dedicated science park. Over the following decades, construction transformed the area into a hub for research, and the city became operational in the 1980s. Housing 60 national research institutes, 2 national universities, and more than 240 private research facilities. The city is organized into specialized zones, each focusing on a distinct area of research. These include higher education and training, construction research, physical science and engineering, biological and agricultural science, and public facilities. Notable institutions within the city include the High Energy Accelerator Research Organization, which conducts groundbreaking work in particle physics, and the National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology, that's a leader in robotics and energy tech. The National Institute for Material Science also stands out for its contributions. At any given time, it hosts about 7,500 foreign researchers and students from 133 countries. That diversity creates a unique environment where cross-cultural collaboration thrives. Among its notable achievements are the identification of molecular structure on superconducting materials, the development of organic optical films for electronics, and the construction of extremely low-pressure vacuum chambers. These breakthroughs highlight the city's role as a global leader in scientific innovation. Number 14. Songdo, South Korea. Songdo, officially known as the Songdo International Business District, is a purpose-built city designed to explore urban living, technological innovation, and sustainability. It's located about 19 miles southwest of Seoul on reclaimed land in Incheon's waterfront. Songdo occupies about 1,500 acres, making it one of the largest private real estate developments in history. Its foundation was laid in 2003 as part of South Korea's $35 billion investment into the Incheon Free Economic Zone. Now, this city was envisioned as a model for sustainable development with over 40% of its area devoted to green spaces. Central to this vision is the Songdo Central Park, a 100-acre urban oasis inspired by New York City's Central Park, complete with water features fed by a tidal system. A hallmark of its innovation is its integration of technology into daily life. Major buildings meet or exceed LEED standards, making it a pioneer in green construction in Asia. The city's pneumatic waste disposal system eliminates the need for garbage trucks by transporting trash through an underground network, separating recyclables automatically. This system, coupled with smart infrastructure, makes Songdo a globally recognized hub for sustainable urban living. Songdo is home to an international university campus housing branches of prestigious institutions like the State University of New York, George Mason University, and Ghent University. These campuses attract students and researchers from around the world, and it promotes academic collaboration and innovation. In addition, the city hosts the Green Climate Fund, an international organization focused on combating climate change. That selection wasn't incidental. Songdo's eco-friendly practices and infrastructure made it a prime choice. Songdo also serves as a business and technology center. The Northeast Asia Trade Tower, South Korea's tallest building, and Songdo Conventia, Asia's first LEED-certified convention center, underline the district's role as a hub for international trade and conferences. Its proximity to Incheon International Airport, connected by a 7.6-mile bridge, further enhances its global connectivity. Number 13. Kjeller, Norway. Kjeller is a small village located 15 miles northeast of Oslo in Norway. It is a place unlike any other. While most towns grew around trade or agriculture, Kjeller was built for science. This village, with its unassuming hills and modest population, has become a focal point for cutting-edge research. Its creation and evolution reflect Norway's commitment to innovation and progress in some of the most advanced scientific disciplines. The story of Kjeller begins in the early 20th century with the establishment of the Kjeller Airport. Originally serving as a base for aviation, the site would later be transformed into a hub for technological advancement. The most significant development came in 1951 with the construction of Norway's first nuclear reactor, the Jeep-2. This reactor, built as part of a joint project with the Netherlands, positioned Norway as a pioneering nation in nuclear research. The Jeep-2 reactor wasn't the only facility to call Kjeller home. Over the decades, the village became the site of numerous prestigious research institutions. The Norwegian Defense Research Establishment conducts critical studies in security and defense tech here, contributing to the country's military. The Institute for Energy Technology focuses on renewable energy, material science, and the ongoing challenges of nuclear decommissioning. NORSAR, the Norwegian Seismic Array, has been instrumental in seismic monitoring and nuclear test detection, while the Norwegian Institute for Air Research addresses global environmental challenges such as air quality and climate change. Kjeller's role in global science cannot be overstated. Its seismic monitoring systems at NORSAR were among the first European nodes of ARPANET, the precursor to the Internet, showcasing the village's early contributions to IT. Even in the realm of nuclear science, where reactors are no longer operational, the expertise developed at Kjeller continues to influence research and policy. Number 12. Ny-Ålesund, Svalbard, Norway. Ny-Ålesund, located on the Brøgger Peninsula of Spitsbergen in the Svalbard archipelago, is the northernmost civilian settlement on Earth. Unlike typical towns, it was designed not for habitation or commerce, but for research. Surrounded by the beauty of the Arctic and perched on the edge of the Kongsfjorden, it's a hub for international scientific study. The settlement's origins date back to 1917 when it was established as a mining town by Kingsbay Coal Comp, a company founded by Peter Brandel. Coal mining, however, proved both unprofitable and hazardous. After a series of accidents, including a 1962 explosion that killed 21 miners and precipitated a national political crisis in Norway, mining operations ceased permanently. Today, the town is owned and managed by Kingsbay AS, a state-run company under Norway's Ministry of Climate and Environment. Its year-round population of about 35 swells to over 100 in the summer, when researchers arrive to study topics ranging from atmospheric science to glaciology. The infrastructure here includes labs, housing, a small airport, and the Svalbard rocket range. These facilities are intentionally designed for science, enabling robust data collection in one of the most pristine environments on Earth. Ny-Ålesund's importance lies in its location. At nearly 75 degrees north, it offers access to the high Arctic ecosystem, including glaciers, tundra, and fjords. Projects like the Norwegian Polar Institute's long-term studies and the American National Science Foundation's glacier research reflect the diversity of scientific efforts concentrated here. The cliffs around Kongsfjorden are home to dense bird populations, particularly waders, and the surrounding tundra supports the Svalbard reindeer, Arctic foxes, and polar bears. The polar bear presence requires constant vigilance, and firearms are mandatory for safety. Ny-Ålesund operates with an unusual degree of international cooperation. Representatives from the participating institutions meet regularly under the Ny-Ålesund Science Managers Committee to coordinate research and infrastructure use. This structure allows scientists to leverage the settlement's unique assets efficiently while minimizing their environmental impact. From April to August, the midnight sun bathes the town in continuous daylight, while from late October to mid-February it endures the polar night. Average summer highs only reach about 43 degrees Fahrenheit, and winter temperatures can drop to negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit, moderated by the North Atlantic Current. These conditions test researchers' endurance and provide insights in how life adapts to these Arctic extremes. Number 11. Alert, Nunavut in Canada. Alert, Nunavut, located on the northeastern tip of Ellesmere Island, is in the northernmost permanently inhabited location on Earth. Situated roughly 500 miles from the North Pole, this remote Canadian outpost exists primarily to facilitate scientific research and military operations. The area gained its name from the HMS Alert, a British Royal Navy vessel that wintered nearby during a polar expedition in 1875 and 76. Over the decades, explorers such as Robert Peary passed through the region during attempts to reach the North Pole. However, the modern settlement was established in the 1950s as Canadian Air Force Station Alert, a strategic military listening post during the Cold War. In 1986, the Dr. Neil Trivett Global Atmosphere Watch Observatory was constructed here to expand atmospheric monitoring capabilities. This facility, located about 3.5 miles from the main station, is part of the global network of observatories that track atmospheric changes. The research conducted here is diverse and internationally significant. Its remote location and lack of industrial activity make it ideal for establishing baseline measurements of global atmospheric conditions. It collaborates with institutions like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, Heidelberg University, and the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. It is one of 3 global super sites for greenhouse gas monitoring, alongside Mauna Loa in Hawaii and Cape Grim in Australia, providing unparalleled insights into the Earth's atmosphere. With no permanent residents, the population here consists of rotating personnel serving 3 to 6 month assignments. These include military staff at CFS Alert and scientists working at the observatory. Extreme isolation defines life here, with limited access to the outside world except for occasional supply flights. Winter temperatures often plunge below -40 degrees Fahrenheit, and the sun disappears entirely for several months during the polar night. These conditions demand careful planning for both daily operations and long-term projects. Number 10. Qaanaaq, Greenland. Qaanaaq's history is a story of displacement. In the early 1950s, the United States Air Force sought to establish a strategic base in the Arctic during the Cold War, primarily for radar and missile defense. The U.S. chose the area around Thule, Greenland, to build what would become the Thule Air Base, the northernmost U.S. military base. The local Inuit population, who had lived in the region for centuries, was forced to relocate to Qaanaaq, a settlement established specifically for the displaced community. This expropriation altered the lives of the local people, and the shift from a traditional subsistence economy to one centered around a U.S. military outpost marked a profound change in the region's culture. Today, Qaanaaq is not just a town, it's a critical research outpost. Its location makes it uniquely positioned to play an important role in monitoring and protecting the global environment. The town is home to an infrasound listening station, IS-18, which is operated by the Danish Meteorological Institute, and forms part of the international monitoring system managed by the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization. The IS-18 station here in Qaanaaq monitors low-frequency sound waves known as infrasound, which are preceded by a variety of events, including nuclear explosions, meteor impacts, and even large volcanic eruptions. The data collected here helps scientists distinguish between naturally happening events and man-made activities, making Qaanaaq a key player in international efforts to prevent nuclear testing. The data collected here is sent to global institutions such as the CTBTO and the Danish Meteorological Institute, where it's analyzed alongside data from other monitoring stations. This global network allows for a real-time detection of nuclear testing, seismic activity, volcanic eruptions, and major events. Number 9. Utqiagvik, Alaska. Utqiagvik, formerly known as Barrow in Alaska, is a unique community in the extreme north of the United States, situated above the Arctic Circle. It stands as the northernmost city in the country and one of the most remote settlements in the world. With a population of just under 5,000, Utqiagvik isn't a typical town. It's built with a singular purpose in mind: research. The town's been a hub for Arctic science since the late 19th century. In 1882, it became the site of an observation station during the first International Polar Year. This began a long tradition of research focused on the Arctic's extreme environment. Since then, Utqiagvik has grown into one of the most important centers for Arctic research. The Barrow Arctic Research Center and the Barrow Environmental Observatory, managed by UIC Science, are among the most notable facilities here. They focus on Arctic marine biology, permafrost, indigenous cultures, and climate change, critical studies as this region warms at twice the global average. The town itself is located on the Arctic coastal plain, surrounded by tundra and wetlands. Its landscape is a mix of grass, moss, and sedge, and virtually all of its land is underlain by permafrost. This makes it an ideal location for studying the impacts of climate change on both the environment and wildlife. Animals like polar bears, Arctic foxes, and migratory birds pass through the region, and bowhead whales can often be seen during the spring migration. Research in Utqiagvik spans a wide range of disciplines. Projects focus on atmospheric chemistry, ecosystem dynamics, and large animal physiology, but climate change monitoring is the central theme here. What makes this place unique isn't just its remote location or its importance as a research center, it's also the blend of culture and science. Situated in a region inhabited by the Inupiat people, The town plays a central role in studying both the natural environment and the adaptation of indigenous cultures to the changing climate. This combination of science and culture makes Utqiagvik one place of global importance, where every research project has real-world implications for our future. Number 8. The Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station. Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station is a place that exists entirely for research, providing a hub for scientific inquiry at one of the most extreme locations on Earth. Situated at the southernmost point on the globe, 9,300 feet above sea level, it's isolated from the rest of the world, accessible only by air during certain months. The station, named after explorers Roald Amundsen and Robert Scott, who famously raced to reach the South Pole in the early 20th century, is a key center for research on geophysics, glaciology, and astronomy. The station's history dates back to about November 1956, when it was first built by the Navy Seabees as part of the United States' contribution to the International Geophysical Year. At that time, no permanent structures existed here, and human presence in Antarctica was limited to seasonal expeditions. What makes this place so unique is not just its location, but the environment it provides for research. The station is the only place on Earth where the sun remains continuously visible for 6 months, and equally, it's in darkness for the next 6 months. This gives scientists a unique opportunity to observe celestial phenomena during the long polar night, making it an ideal location for astronomical research. Temperatures here can plunge to negative 99 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter, making conditions harsh and uninhabitable. But the research at the station covers a broad spectrum of fields, including glaciology, meteorology, and astrophysics. It plays a role in the study of cosmic phenomena, particularly through the Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory and the South Pole Telescope, both of which rely on the station's clear, dry atmosphere. The station also hosts experiments in low-frequency astronomy and geophysics, all made possible by the station's extreme isolation and unique conditions. Though isolated, it's far from barren here. In the summer, the station supports up to 150 researchers and support staff. During the winter months, the station's population drops to around 50 individuals, often referred to as winter overs, who are cut off from the world outside until the arrival of the next flight months later. This isolation can be mentally and physically challenging, with the station fully self-sufficient, powered by 3 generators running on jet fuel. The winter months also serve their own rituals, such as the traditional viewing of The Thing, a set of films about isolation and survival in harsh conditions after the last flight leaves. Moving on to number 7, Pevek, Russia. Pevek in Russia is a small, remote town located above the Arctic Circle, located on the eastern edge of Chonskaya Bay, part of the East Siberian Sea. It's situated on a peninsula. This town faces the Rutan Islands, and it's about 400 miles northwest of Anadyr, the administrative center of the Chukotka Autonomous Okrug. With a population of just over 4,000 people, Pevek's history and purpose have been shaped by its location and its pivotal role in Russian Arctic exploration. Pevek was established in the early 20th century as a port for exporting minerals, a crucial step in supporting Russia's expanding northern sea route. Its position along the route made it an important hub for maritime trade and logistics in the region. The town's role, however, shifted dramatically during the Soviet era, when it became a site for uranium mining, often relying on forced labor from nearby gulags. The mining operations were short-lived, and as the Soviet Union collapsed, the mines became unprofitable, leading to a significant decline in the population. By the early 2000s, many of the original mines had closed, and the infrastructure that once supported Pevek began to decay. However, its importance didn't fade with the closure of the mines. In recent years, the town has found new significance as the location of Russia's first floating nuclear power plant. This floating plant is a cutting-edge solution to energy challenges in the Russian Arctic, and it's played a key role in revitalizing the town. The Akademik Lomonosov is the world's northernmost nuclear power station, and its presence in Pevek marks a major milestone in Russia's efforts to provide sustainable energy. It's 472 feet long, 98 feet wide, and displaces about 21,000 tons. With a crew of about 69 people, this floating plant operates autonomously, offering a combination of power generation, heat, and water desalinization that's vital to Pevek's existence. The town is a key component of Russia's larger strategy to develop the Arctic region. As the global interest in the Arctic grows due to its potential energy resources and shipping routes, Pevek has emerged as a central hub for scientific research, energy development, and exploration. Number 6. Qashetuk, Nunavut in Canada. Qaqeshtuk, or Resolute, located in Cornwallis Island in Nunavut, Canada, stands as an example of a remote settlement, serving as a critical hub for Arctic logistics, research, and exploration. Its significance lies not in its population, roughly 200 people, but in its unique role in scientific research. The town, known as Qaqeshtuk, meaning place with no dawn, reflects that extreme location. It's positioned near the northernmost part of the Northwest Passage, and it offers unparalleled access to the Arctic environment. The history of Resolute is inseparable from Canada's geopolitical and scientific interests. Established in 1953, the community's origins are tied to the High Arctic Relocation Policy, which aimed to assert Canadian sovereignty over the Arctic during the Cold War. The community's founding is often remembered as a difficult chapter in Canada's history, as these relocated families faced extreme conditions, including long periods of complete darkness in the winter. Despite those challenges, though, Resolute gradually evolved into a vital research base, with key infrastructure developments including a weather station and an airstrip built in the late 1940s. While Resolute itself doesn't host the large research teams, its role as a logistical base and staging area is indispensable for projects. The local airport provides access to remote research sites like the Houghton Crater, which has been studied for its potential to mimic conditions found on Mars, offering a vital platform for space agencies. The town's infrastructure is shaped by its research-oriented purpose. With few permanent residents and limited facilities, most buildings here are designed to support scientific work and Arctic survival. Though there are basic services, the population is highly transient, with researchers and scientists often arriving for specific projects before moving on to other locations. What makes Resolute truly unique, though, is its role in testing human survival in one of Earth's most extreme environments. The town itself is not a place for conventional living. It exists primarily to support research on Arctic conditions, polar explorations, and even Mars exploration. It's home to the northernmost weather station, too, essential for monitoring Arctic climate change, and serves as a vital waypoint for researchers. In a more practical sense, Resolute is important because of its strategic position as a staging ground for Arctic exploration. For decades, scientists have used the town as a base for their studies of climate, wildlife, and the effects of environmental change in the Arctic. It's also a key location for monitoring any changing dynamics of the Northwest Passage, a potential shipping route that's becoming more navigable due to rising global temperatures. Number 5. Lancetilla Botanical Garden and Research Center. Growing on the northern coast of Honduras, the Lancetilla Botanical Garden and Research Center serves as a unique outpost dedicated entirely to scientific research, with a focus on tropical botany and agriculture. Established in 1925 by the United Fruit Company, it began as the Lancetilla Agricultural Experimental Station, primarily to study the adaptability of bananas and plantains. Lancetilla was designed with the goal of advancing knowledge about tropical crops and the agricultural potential of Central America. While it initially focused on banana production, its mission has expanded over the decades to include a diverse range of tropical plants and trees, many of which have been crucial for research in the areas like agriculture, horticulture, and ecological preservation. One part, the Arboretum, houses various tropical species from around the world. This area is particularly significant for its collection of plants, especially the 636 species of Asian plants that make it the largest of its kind in Mesoamerica. But one of the most striking features here is its natural bamboo tunnel, a rare and fascinating sight that adds a distinctive touch to the garden's otherwise scientific atmosphere. It's not really just a garden, but a living laboratory, providing a valuable resource for researchers that impact agriculture, conservation, and biodiversity. This garden owes much of its development to Wilson Papineau, the pioneering agricultural scientist who served as the first director of the tropical agricultural experiments. Papineau's vision was to use the microclimate diversity of Lancetilla Valley to grow a broad range of species. His efforts lay the groundwork for what would become a global center for tropical horticulture. Tragically, though, his wife Dorothy passed away in 1932 after consuming unripe ackee fruit in the garden, marking a somber chapter in the garden's history. The garden is also a haven for bird watchers, with 331 species recorded in the area, ranging from year-round residents to migratory North American birds. But what sets it apart from other botanical gardens is its dual role as both an agricultural research station and a living, functional garden. The research conducted here doesn't stay confined to the laboratory. It's actively integrated into the landscape, making the garden a practical and functional space for ongoing experiments. The diverse microclimates, the experimental cultivation of various crops, and the active conservation efforts make Lancetilla a unique and irreplaceable resource in the world of tropical botany. Number 4. McMurdo Station. McMurdo Station is a research hub located in the heart of Antarctica, a place built entirely for science and exploration. It's located on the volcanic rock of Hut Point. It marks the southernmost solid land that can be reached by ship. Its location, accessible only by air or icebreaker during certain months, is one of the most remote on Earth. Originally it was established in 1956, it serves as the United States' primary research station on the continent and the entry point for many scientific expeditions. In the summer, the station's population swells to around 1,000 people, mostly not scientists but essential support staff. These include cooks, carpenters, bus drivers, who operate the legendary Ivan the Terra bus, and electricians, everyone working together to ensure that the station functions efficiently. The station has a unique, somewhat quirky character. There's a curling rink, a cafeteria serving comfort food from around the world, and even soft-serve ice cream. As the largest of its kind in Antarctica, McMurdo is a logistical marvel, supporting not only American scientists but also researchers from other countries. Over the years, McMurdo has supported critical research, including work on ice cores, penguin colonies, and the effects of a warming planet on local ecosystems. This station's history can be traced back to earlier explorations, notably when the British explorer Robert Falcon Scott set up camp near Hut Point in 1904. His original hut, stocked with supplies, still stands as a relic of early Antarctic expeditions. But McMurdo Station's isolation means that when you're there, it's not hard to feel the extremes of both the environment and the community. It's a place where everyone has a purpose, from researchers studying the depths of the Ross Sea to the chefs preparing meals for the winter crew. Living in McMurdo, with temperatures often hovering below freezing year-round, requires a special kind of person. Not only do you need to handle the isolation and extreme weather, but you gotta be adaptable, resourceful, and ready for whatever challenges the Antarctic environment throws your way. Number 3. Masdar City in the United Arab Emirates. Masdar City, located in Abu Dhabi in the UAE, is a unique urban development built entirely with research and innovation in mind. It serves as a laboratory for sustainable living and a showcase for the latest advancements in renewable energy, clean technologies, and smart urban design. It's the home of the International Renewable Energy Agency, an intergovernmental organization focused on advancing global renewable energy initiatives. In addition to IRENA, the city hosts a range of institutions and companies that are at the forefront of technological innovation, including the Mohammed bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence and Siemens Energy, whose headquarters in the city have set new benchmarks in energy-efficient design. The buildings, such as the Siemens Energy headquarters, are designed to minimize energy use using innovative techniques like automated shading systems and energy-efficient materials. Some buildings here also take advantage of the Venturi effect, channeling winds to cool down public spaces naturally. The city does also play a role in advancing fields like artificial intelligence, clean energy, and space technology. The presence of research institutions like the Masdar Institute of Science and Technology, in collaboration with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, fosters cutting-edge research. Similarly, the UAE Space Agency headquarters in the city supports their growing ambitions in space exploration. Now, while the city may not be large in terms of population, housing around 15,000 residents as of 2023, it is a dynamic center for research, housing over 1,000 organizations in its free zone. The city's free zone status offers business benefits such as 100% foreign ownership, zero personal income tax, and no import tariffs, encouraging a diverse range of companies to set up shop. By integrating solar energy, smart technologies, and a sustainable building practice into a cohesive urban ecosystem, Masdar City is positioning itself as a model for future cities around the world. Number 2. Pripyat. Pripyat, located in northern Ukraine near the border with Belarus, was founded on February 4, 1970 as a model city built entirely to support the nearby Chernobyl plant. Originally designed as the 9th Atomgrad, a type of closed city in the Soviet Union, Pripyat's purpose was to house the workers and scientists who operated and researched at the plant. Unlike many cities built for industrial purposes, Pripyat was created with a clear focus on scientific research and advancement, particularly related to nuclear energy. In its prime, Pripyat was a thriving community with a population of around 49,000 by 1986, mostly young people with an average age of about 26. It featured modern infrastructure, including educational facilities, healthcare, cultural centers, and recreation options, designed to ensure that residents lived in relative comfort. The city had about 13,000 apartments, a hospital with a capacity of 410 patients, and an abundance of cultural and sports facilities. In essence, Pripyat was built as a research city, where the focus was not on nuclear power production, but also on the well-being of the scientific community living there. The most notable structure related to the city's focus on research is the Avantgarde Stadium, which played a role in the life of the community. The stadium, along with the nearby Azure swimming pool and amusement park, was part of the lifestyle for residents who lived in a city built with specific needs. In fact, Pripyat's development mirrored the Soviet ideology of harnessing nuclear energy for peaceful purposes, represented in a widely promoted slogan, "Peaceful Atom." What sets Pripyat apart from other abandoned cities, though, is the sense of it being frozen in time. The city, now largely abandoned, remains almost exactly as it was in 1986. The Ferris wheel, which was scheduled to open just days after the disaster, stands as a haunting symbol of what was lost. The once thriving sports and cultural complexes are now empty and overgrown. The structures are not merely remnants of an urban landscape, they are physical representations of an entire lifestyle built around nuclear research and industry. In a way, it was a model city for its time, designed for efficiency, research, and scientific advancement. Its sudden abandonment and legacy of the Chernobyl disaster have transformed it into a symbol of both human ambition and potential dangers. Today, the Chernobyl exclusion zone, including Pripyat, remains a unique and haunting part of the world. Although radiation levels in most of the city are now relatively low and safe for people, the city still bears the scars of its past. Its abandonment serves as a cautionary tale, and its eerie stillness offers a glimpse into a chapter of history that is, thankfully, unlikely to be repeated anywhere else. Number 1. Green Bank, West Virginia. Green Bank, West Virginia is a small, remote community located in the Allegheny Mountains nestled within the Potomac Highlands. Despite its quaint size, with a population of just 141 as of 2020, Green Bank holds a significant place in scientific research, especially in the field of radio astronomy. The town's primary distinction comes from being situated within a National Radio Quiet Zone, a 13,000 square mile area that enforces strict restrictions on radio transmissions, making it one of the quietest places on Earth. The observatory here, housing the Green Bank Telescope, the world's largest fully steerable radio telescope, has been a critical site for studying invisible energy waves, including black holes, gravitational waves, and radiation belts, since its establishment in 1958. In 1958, the U.S. government recognized the need for an area where the radio frequencies would remain undisturbed for scientific research. Thus, the National Radio Quiet Zone was established, limiting radio signals such as cell phone use, Wi-Fi, and other electronic communications. Green Bank's isolation and its association with the observatory have led to its own peculiar appeal. Some residents, particularly those concerned with electromagnetic hypersensitivity, have chosen to live in the area to escape the effects of modern wireless tech. The region's remote and quiet nature has also attracted groups interested in escaping the more chaotic, digitally connected world. In 1961, it was here that Frank Drake presented the Drake equation, a mathematical formula developed to estimate the number of potentially detectable extraterrestrial civilizations in our galaxy. While the observatory no longer operates under the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, its research continues to be at the forefront of astrophysical study. The enforcement of the zone's rules has fallen to individuals like Wesley Sizemore, who for over 20 years was responsible for ensuring that the radio silence was maintained. His duties included tracking down sources of interference, which could range from malfunctioning electronic devices like electric blankets to more serious violations. His role made him both a guardian of scientific research and a figure of local folklore, with stories of his visits to homes where he would instruct residents to turn off their microwaves or unplug their routers. The absence of mobile phones and wireless technology here means that the community has to function without the digital connections that most of us take for granted. This quiet, reflective atmosphere has become both a sanctuary for those who seek solitude and a symbol of a different way of life, one that values silence and stillness in an increasingly noisy world. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Thank you to our channel members.